Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. All right, follow up about the Allentown explosion, the car explosion that took. It was Saturday evening, I believe. Now I'll replay some of the clips that are out there, and I think it exploded multiple times. It's they revealed the identity of the three people that were killed, and it's a 26-year-old and his son, who was only 2 years old, and then I think a 66-year-old. All right. Basically, we don't know. We know more, but it's just not real clear what's going on here. Because yesterday, it was being it was being investigated as a criminal incident. To my knowledge, like 50 ATF agents were on the scene that evening. And so multiple law enforcement agents investigating this. They took three vehicles away from the crime scene. I think that were caught up in the explosion as well. As well as the one, I guess, in the middle. And there's reports of them visiting a second address. I think Sunday. I'm going to read that now. But as of yesterday, it was being investigated as a criminal incident, and they were saying they believed that the perpetrator was killed in the explosion. That's when there were three males that were killed. But yesterday there was no mention of a child. So now today it's three people have been identified: a 26-year-old, his son, and a 66-year-old, who, according to reports, is friends with the 26-year-olds. They're friends. So the notion that the perpetrator was killed in the explosion it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But they're also not ruling out that it was just an accident, which is very possible, And I went to the person's Facebook page, the 26-year-old who was identified, because they don't have a picture of the 66-year-old. So Lehigh County Coroner Scott Grimm identified the dead as Jacob Schmoyer, 26, of Allentown, and his 2-year-old son, Jonathan, 2-year-old son. This is obviously tragic. It's terrible. And David Hallman, 66, who was also an Allentown resident. There were early reports about the 66-year-old was walking by or walking his dog. Those are not confirmed. In fact, I noticed over here when I was, if I still have it up here, which I don't. No, I do. Okay, so like when it says here, there it is right there. Well, they already changed it. How did that update on its own without me refreshing it? Washington Times. No, never mind. I'm looking at something else. There it is. Sources: third victim in Allentown car explosion was man walking dog. Okay, and that goes to nothing. That story's been taken away. Sorry, can't find. It's a dead link. So that's an unconfirmed story, and the reports are that they knew each other. They were friends. The 66-year-old. And the 26-year-old, the 66-year-old David Hallman. I went to Jacob Schmoyer's Facebook page, which is there. And actually, I think some of these photos are taken from that. They are in this report here, That's a relative of Jacob Schmoyer. Facebook page, but I went to his Facebook page, and I'm almost certain there's a dude on there that looks like in that age range, 66, that I believe is the David Hallman, but I don't know, and he doesn't have a Facebook page himself. His father does, and I'm fairly certain that the picture on his Facebook page is not his father. I think it's the dude. Okay, I think it's David Hallman, but I don't know that for a fact. And there's actually videos of him, who appears to be his friend from years ago, at their house. On the couch, you have a couch like on the porch, and they're just messing around, joking around. The couch is ripped into pieces, and they're kind of just playing around because they couldn't get into the house, so they had to tear it up. And I don't know, they're joking like they could fix it maybe. And it seems as though the older dude is had been drinking, in the video, which makes no difference to me. I'm just and I don't know if that older dude is the David Hallman. I kind of think it is. And I don't know. That kind of leads me to a conclusion that maybe this was just a bad accident, But I don't know that for sure. I don't. And but it's still being investigated. They gave a press conference. I'll play video of the explosion. There's a couple different ones, just so in case you didn't see it before. They in the press conference, the investigators wouldn't confirm a lot, like what the material was that caused the explosion. You know, they acknowledge that some material that, you know, would explode caused the explosion, but they wouldn't identify what the material was. They would not say whether or not all three persons were in the vehicle, or whether or not the older guy, the 66-year-old guy, approached the vehicle. You know, they did say that they were all killed from the explosion, from the trauma of the explosion. The autopsy, I think, is not. They wouldn't say an exact cause of death, I guess, until the investigation's over. So, I mean, that's pretty much what we're talking about. You know what? Actually, but they did. You know, they did go to a third location. Robinson said investigators removed 3 cars from the scene to inspect for evidence. Allentown Police Chief Tony Aslabin thanked residents for their patience. We have a lot of evidence to go through, he said. Meanwhile, ATF agents returned shortly before 12:30 p.m. to a house on Lumber Street that they visited Sunday in connection with the explosion. So this is Monday, you know, and they had already visited it yesterday, Sunday, and the woman was escorted from the home and driven away. Maybe it wasn't an accident. I take that back. I don't know. I just don't know. I really don't know. A neighbor on Lumber Street, Margaret Owens, said she is not well acquainted with the family at that house. She was asked to leave her house at 8 a.m. Monday, but has since been allowed to return. She said the family includes a couple and their baby and the husband's parents. Authorities said Sunday they believed the blast was an isolated incident and the perpetrator was among the 3 victims, but I think that's called into question now. But you know, we don't know. The explosion shook city buildings and residents, many of whom posted videos of the fiery aftermath. Over here, just quickly, before I play the videos, just to kind of recap, authorities said Monday that the 3 people who died in a car explosion in downtown Allentown, including a father and his toddler son, all knew each other. But the cause of the explosion remained under investigation. Lehigh County coroner identified the 3 dead as Jacob Schmoyer, 26, and his 2-year-old son, Jonathan Schmoyer, as well as David Holman, 66, who was a friend of the older Schmoyer, authorities said. Special agent in charge of the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives declined to talk about possible motive or cause of the explosion. Obviously, we are dealing with an explosion that could be anything from an accident to death, accident to a device, an explosive device, Robinson said Monday. But on Sunday, District Attorney James Martin told reporters at a news conference that he believed there had been a crime. We know there's been a criminal incident, District Attorney James Martin told reporters at a news conference Sunday. We have a high degree of confidence that the perpetrator was probably killed in the incident. Again, that's Sunday. So it remains unclear, and why they're visiting that third location on Lombard Street is, you know, we just don't know. And so, sorry for my reading, which I'm not going to reread. Here's some of the video of the explosion. There's a couple different ones.
This morning, Pennsylvania police investigating a mysterious car explosion that left 3 dead, and police believe may have been intentional.
We just had an explosion south of 2-3. It's a car. We're getting multiple calls.
The blast Saturday night causing panic in the community, shaking. Blast Saturday night causing.
It's a car. We're getting multiple calls.
The blast Saturday night causing panic in the community, shaking.
I mean, and in this report here, the reports are they couldn't even show the entire video because it literally showed people's body parts in the video. That's what it says.
Some of the video is too graphic to show, with severed limbs scattered on the ground.
The amount of boom that you heard from that explosion, is no way somebody can live through something like that.
Witnesses like Desiree Guth say they heard several more booming noises shortly after.
It shook our apartment. I came out to the balcony. Soon I came out to the balcony, I saw fire behind me.
I don't know, man. That's, I'm sure we will learn more in the coming days. As soon as I know more, I'll make another video. That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.